You're listening to the Creating a Brand podcast. I am your host, Alex Sanfilippo. Today's episode is going to be all about using video. That's right, a podcast episode about video marketing to grow your brand. Fun fact about me, I love podcasting, but I also love being on video. So be sure to check out the Creating a Brand YouTube channel. I just started sharing on it. I've got a few action-packed short videos that I believe you'll really enjoy. So for this episode, I sought out to find an expert in the field of video marketing that could talk to us about growing our brands using video. So I'm extremely happy with who we ended up finding. Her name is Keri Murphy. Keri's company, Inspired Living, teaches people to utilize video to grow their brands. There's no denying it. Video marketing is trending and growing year over year. It's a topic that we cannot ignore. Keri shares her framework for creating videos and 5 videos that every business needs. I don't want to spoil anything from this episode, so here's my interview now with Keri Murphy. Keri, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Oh, my pleasure, Alex. Thanks so much for having me.
This is an episode I'm really excited about because we have not talked on this podcast about video at all, really. And, I'm a podcaster, so I'm hiding behind a mic with no camera in front of me right now. So this was something that we really wanted to talk about because video is definitely something that's trending more and more, especially on newer social media platforms that are coming up, and also on some of the older ones. They're kind of making a shift to more and more video because people are really relating to that much better than just pictures or text even. So this is a really important conversation I believe we're going to have today. And I'm really excited that you agreed to be a guest on the podcast. I think you're going to add a lot of value. So I'm really excited about this today.
Oh, thanks, Alex. I am too. I was actually looking up some current statistics because I tout statistics all the time when it comes to video. Of course, I'm like, I teach people how to be on camera, but I need some facts to, support me. And I read something that said by 2021, Facebook plans to be 100% video-based and zero text. Now,
oh, wow.
I don't know if that's 1,000% true, but I was like, I do know that video and Facebook, Facebook really wants its platform to be more of like a YouTube-based platform.
Right.
And video is just the number one growing marketing tool out there. It's not going anywhere. So it's a good topic. It's a hot topic. Let's go.
Yes, absolutely. I want to go ahead and jump straight into my first question for you. How important is it for us to be transparent when sharing our story?
It is so important. I just shot a video on this yesterday for an upcoming ILTV episode. Being vulnerable is one of the things that I think is so hard. Well, I want to say especially for women, but men have a really tough time being vulnerable too. Mm-hmm. And I posted on my Facebook page not that long ago, how many of you share your fears and struggles? And I was really surprised. It was like, nope, not me. This is the game face I put on. This is how I go out in the world. I never share that. And, vulnerability and transparency is so important right now with the climate that we're facing in the world. Because we did go through that recession, I think consumers are much more wise with where they put their money, and they want to invest in companies that make them feel something and people that make them feel something, hope, inspiration, possibility. And we create that emotional connection through vulnerability. It is not through showing how perfect our lives are. Because come on, that is a complete pile of baloney. And people want to see themselves in you, in me, in the brands we decide to invest in and work with. So for me, if you are serious about showing up as someone who helps make an impact, and I hate to say the word influencer because I feel like that is something you can buy, but if you really care about what you do in the world, you have to be vulnerable because that is the heart in which people can see themselves through you. It's really important.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And I think that a lot of us, when we're being vulnerable, though, especially when they don't have the experience that maybe you have, figuring out how to do that in a way that is relatable to other people can be a little bit difficult or come across as maybe a little bit awkward, right? So I think a lot of people, they're scared to be that authentic self on camera because they're afraid that people are just going to look and be like, that was weird, right?
Right. Like, why are they sharing that?
Yeah, right. How does somebody get started? Like, again, you have a lot of experience. How does someone get started? This is like, okay, they're saying, all right, I want to be more like Keri, and I want to go ahead and start sharing video that's authentic, that's going to help share my brand, spread what I'm doing. How do I do this in a way that's not going to scare people away, And obviously I'm being a little bit extreme there, but how does somebody get started with that?
Yeah, there's so many ways, Alex. But what I want to say when it comes to storytelling, there are a few pivotal things I really suggest everyone look at. And the first one is, what's in it for me being the person hearing the video or the podcast. So what's in it for the consumer? What's in it for the prospect? What's in it for the listener? Why am I sharing this story? That has to be the number one thing. Am I sharing it just to rant because I'm pissed off or I'm sad or I'm a hot mess? That is not the reason to share a story, right? So you want to think about, how does it contribute to the life of the person that I intend to share it with? Okay. And then it's, how has this story shaped Keri, my life view, my world view? How has it made me the person I am today? People love those stories. How has it shaped me into the woman that I am, the mom that I am, the business owner that I am? Because people care about that, because again, they can see themselves in that. And lastly, what did I learn from that story that I can share with someone else that makes a difference? Stories, again, are such a powerful metaphor for life and how we connect with people, and they've been around forever. And so when you think about sharing a story, there's always an arc, which we talk about, but more importantly than that, it's, what is the takeaway, right? So you have to ask yourself those three questions. Why should I care, the person who's watching? How has it shaped the person who is sharing it? And then what is the lesson that I want to impart on the people that I'm sharing it with? When you know those answers, it makes your story so much more impactful. You're clearer with sharing it. When I go on to social media and I see rant, or I see someone in a state of just complete disaster, I'm not attracted to that. And, we often hear, well, our mess is our message. Yes, it can be. I use my story all the time, but let's get over the mess first, right? Like, let's not share it when we're in it, because it's too hard, and people have a difficult time disassociating from where you're at. It almost feels uncomfortable, right? Like you're watching something maybe you shouldn't.
Right.
Right? When you can share it from a place of perspective, then you have a different way of showing up. Like, I have a lot of stories in my life that were painful at the time that I can now share with complete authenticity and heart, but from a disassociated emotional state. And I think that is important.
If you're creating a brand, whether it's a personal brand through a blog or influencing on social media, or a professional brand with a product or service that you're offering, the Creating a Brand community is for you. We are your digital mastermind or tribe. Our community is built on our own custom social media platform where we share our experiences, recommendations, and solve real problems together. In addition, all members have exclusive access to our many online courses. Ultimately, we are a powerful community of entrepreneurs that are helping each other succeed. You will always go further in life and in business when you're part of a healthy community. I'm so passionate about this that I'm going to ask you to do something for me right now. Visit creatingabrand.com and join our community today. You can start for free, and it will take you less than 3 minutes to set up. Once you join, message me directly. I'd love to have a conversation with you and welcome you to our community. Great points on storytelling. Thank you, Keri. This is actually a perfect time for us to transition into talking about your video format, as I know storytelling is part of it. Can you walk us through the video format that you teach at your workshops?
You do always want to start with the what's in it for me. Mm-hmm. And that's the why. Simon Sinek talks so much about this, but it has been around for a long time in marketing. When you watch a commercial or you hear something, it always starts with, do you have a really bad headache? Do you suffer from migraines, right? Do you wish you could fit into your skinny jeans? It always starts with the pain point of the consumer. And we want to do that in a way, again, that feels authentic, that doesn't feel manipulative, that doesn't feel, hi, are you broke? Like, do you wish you made more money? It's not.
You make it sound so positive. I'm like, no, but should I be?
Yeah, that's the problem, though, is that people don't emotionally connect to the words that they're saying on video most of the time, because they're too worried about the words they're saying and not the state they're trying to elicit from the person watching. So when you are stating those things, you always want to start, I think, videos most of the time, except personality videos, which I'll talk about. I teach 5 types of videos, but in most of the videos, you want to start with what's in it for me. And it usually is addressing a pain point, a great challenge around what it is that you do that I'm suffering with. For example, does the thought of being on camera make you want to go into hiding? Do you have no idea what to say, how to say it? And if you do, you have no idea how to optimize it and how for it to really reach the people and have the impact that you want. I know my pain of the people watching because I know my customer, right? And then the possibility. Can you just imagine for a minute how amazing you would feel if you press record with confidence? You knew exactly what to say, who you were talking to, and that it was going to convert to leads. Like, hello, yes, please. Right.
Right.
So you
Absolutely.
want to
Sign me
be
up.
able, yeah, you want to be able to meet people where they're at. And that's usually by addressing a pain point or helping them step into a possibility. So that's how I always start the video, because you only have 3 to 8 seconds. That's it. That is it.
Right.
You have
Yeah.
3 to 8 seconds to capture someone's attention on video. And by the way, now we have to get them to even turn on the sound, right? We have to get them
True.
to turn up the volume. So it's not easy. And there are billions of views on video. On YouTube every day, there's over 4 billion views.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's bananas. So people are looking for video all the time. There's another stat that executives are 56% more likely to watch a video than go look up something and try to read it. Like everything is video. Our handheld, everything's mobile, everything's accessible. So you have to be able to get that prospect, to get that community member engaged quickly. So that's why you start it with them. No one cares about you. No one cares about us, right? No, until they can understand why they should. And then that's what I
Right.
go into. It's like, why should they listen? Why should they listen to me is the next one. And then depending on the type of video, it's usually what I'm going to talk about in the video. Because again, people want to know, how long is the video? What's the video about?
Mm-hmm.
Just like you did, you teed this podcast up so well, right? Like this is why we're talking about video. People want to know quickly what is going to be in it for them. And then you get into some great content. And then you wrap it up with possibility, next step. Always have a call to action in your videos, which again, I think only 10% of people have a call to action on their videos. So there's lots of possibility for people here. So that's usually the framework that I use for most of my videos.
This is such a powerful video format. I want to make sure that all the listeners were able to catch everything you said. Can you quickly recap those points for us again?
Start with why.
Mm-hmm.
What's in it for me, the person watching the video, and address a pain or possibility. You can address a couple, okay, in that opening. And then usually why you? Why are you the person I should be listening to? I call this your positioning statement. So I might say something after I address the why. Hi, I'm Keri Murphy. I've been on camera for over 30 years and an entrepreneur for over 20. And I still feel the way you do after all of that time, yet I have such experience in helping you get through that and really building and leveraging a business that makes a difference. So it's a short sentence. Don't go on and on about you because again, no one cares.
Right.
And then you go into what you're going to teach in the video, what they can expect from you. And it could be even what you do. This is how we help you. And usually I bullet point this out, no more than 3 bullet points, 3 learning points in a video. People just don't have the attention span. And usually we overteach and then wrap it up with a call to action. What's next for them? What's possible for them? What if they apply this great new information? How is that going to change their current state? And what's the next step I need to take? Whether that is post a comment, share this, subscribe, call me, send me an email, buy my thing. There's lots of different ways to do that.
Yeah, you're sharing a lot of value right now. Like this is really great content that you are providing for us. So thank you so much for just kind of sharing your heart with this. And this is really good. Now, I do have a question.
I'm going to send you a bill in a little bit, Alex.
Thank you. Can't wait for it. So I'm thinking about this. So like it sounds a little bit potentially overwhelming for people. Is this something that you recommend people practice? Like what would your kind of thought be on that?
Yes. I mean, when you look at what we do as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we practice, we try things, we experiment. And yet when it comes to video, and this is why I'm flabbergasted most of the time, no one gets training, no one learns, they just start talking. And there's a strategy. You can't just use video. Even if you're great on camera, if you don't have a strategy of how you're using that video that's going to translate into sales and community building and serving, then what's the point? Right? What's the point? So we got to look at, why are you using video? How are you using video? Where are you putting your videos? And how are people actually connecting with them? And how are you converting them? As a business owner, I don't do videos for sales, but that is part of our marketing strategy. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the heartbeat of any business is sales. So we can't be like, oh my God, I just want to provide great content and I never want to work with anyone. You won't survive, right? And for me, Inspired Living is about building a business that makes a difference, enables you to create great income that you can then infiltrate back into the world to make a positive impact. That is what I want to help create in the world. So we can't be martyrs, right? So there has to be a strategy and a way to monetize the the content you're putting out there. And that is part of kind of what we teach. It can be overwhelming, but yes, get out your phones. The only way you get great at anything is practicing. You can't think about it. You can't wait for it. You can't sit there and tweak it a million times. And I will say, the more you rehearse, the less authentic you will be. Rehearsing and practicing are two different things, right? Because you cannot be authentic and be scripted. It's impossible unless you're a trained actress or talent. So that's why these bullet points really help. Like, oh, what's the pain point? Who am I? What am I going to cover in this video? What are my 3 tips? And what's my call to action? That is all you need as a framework. And then just speak from your heart. And the $1 million tip that I share that changes how everyone shows up is you have to know who you're talking to. Video is dialogue. Yeah. It is not a monologue. You're not just talking at some random person in the atmosphere, right? You are talking to one person at a time. So if you get on camera and you're like, hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being here today. I'm Keri. And in the next 3 minutes, I'm going to change your life. Like, okay, we can't handle that. And so you really, it's not an infomercial. Like, you really want to speak to the heart of the person watching. That is the beauty of video, is it is this multi-sensory, juicy experience someone gets with you. So those are the tips. But yes, practice. Get on. I think, using Instagram stories is so perfect because they're 15 seconds. They're gone tomorrow.
True.
Nothing's out there forever. Yes, you want to learn how to be on camera. It will change everything that you do when you learn how to actually articulate a message that other people care about, because that is why we do what we do, right? I know that's why you do what you do. And so
absolutely.
How do you do that? But yes, you have to practice. For years, I was put into a room for 2 years, once a week for 8 hours. I was put into a room about the size of a closet. It was a green screen with a director and an editor. I shot 8 videos that used to take me, when I started out, it was like 8 hours, painful 8 hours, reading off a prompter. And then before you know it, it was like I was in and out in 90 minutes, 2 hours, because the more you do anything, the better you get. So please don't look at me or anyone else on camera and go, oh my gosh, it's so easy for them. Talk about 10,000 hours. I think I've probably tripled that in my lifetime so far.
Right.
So you have to be willing to practice. You have to be willing to go out there and be vulnerable. And as Dr. Seuss says, it is none of your business what other people think about you. It's none of your business. So stop focusing on, what if they don't like me? What if I get a nasty comment? What about all the lives that could be transformed if you actually got over your ego and started showing up? How about that?
That's so true.
Yeah.
So true. For me, I actually decided I needed to be on video. I don't know something clicked inside me. I was like, I need to start doing video as well. This was probably a year ago at this point. And I took a few months where I actually didn't post anything. I just started with my iPhone. I just put it up in my windowsill. That's all I had at the time. For a long time, I had the excuse of, I don't have the right gear for that. Yeah. And then somebody corrected me saying, well, you have $1,000 camera in your pocket.
Right.
Why don't you start using that?
How about that bad boy?
Yeah. Right. I'm like, that's a good point. Well, what I did for months is I actually didn't post these videos anywhere. I just practiced. In the first few, I was so intimidated. Didn't think I would be. But the first time I rewatched a video myself, I'm like, this is disgusting. I'm like, this needs to be destroyed, and that's just kind of the way I felt. But a couple months later, I started rewatching and I started showing a couple people who were like, wow, this is like really good. And when I finally posted it, people were asking me, they're like, man, you must just be a natural. And same thing you're saying, I put a lot of time and energy into it. I did videos every single day for I think it was 3 to 4 months, somewhere in between there. And every single day. And I wasn't posting them anywhere. I was just getting my confidence up, figuring out what looks awkward, what doesn't. But it really helped me a lot. Now when I post videos, I get a lot of people saying, man, that's exactly what I needed to hear. And I believe that the framework you kind of shared is going to actually help me take that even to another level now that I'm really just excited about. So I think it's so important just to get that practice going.
But everything that we do, confidence comes from building a muscle, right? Confidence comes from doing something. The thing is, when we watch ourselves, we have such a jaded perspective because we are looking at ourselves from a different lens than someone who's watching it online. So I have that critical lens, just like we all do.
Right.
But when you can start looking at it from a producer point of view and from a content point of view and from an emotional point of view, like, does this resonate? Never mind what I look like. When you think about the people in the world that are making huge impact, from our political atmosphere to our media, it is not about what you look like. Think about it for just a second, people. It has nothing to do with the glossy cover. Actually, the people who are out there really shifting and creating huge movements in the world are not your standard LA description of beauty, because that no one cares about that. And yet it is the number one thing that stops us from showing up. I don't look
Mhm.
like this. I need to do this. I don't have this. I do that. Like, it doesn't matter. What matters is your story. What matters is your heart. What matters is your willingness to get out there and share and serve. And you could tell I could talk about this all day because I
Yeah.
hear it so much. It's like, well, Keri, I don't look like you, or I don't look like him, because Alex, you're very handsome too. And it's like, well, I can't do that. I'm not comfortable with that. Really, the it factor that I teach, which is that quality that just illuminates a space in a room, whether you're in the room with them or not, you just feel it. You feel it through a microphone. You feel it through the video lens.
Right.
It's not external. It's internal. And the sooner you understand that, the fear of being seen starts to go away a little bit. When you know who you're talking to and why you're sharing the content with them, you get out of fear and you get into service. And that
Yeah.
transcends everything. Like, you can't be fearful when you know exactly who you're talking to and how you can help them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's, at the end of the day, all video is. It's just a conduit of communication. From movies to commercials to YouTube videos, number one search term is how to. How many of us can teach something or someone how to do something?
It's so true. I love what you said there. You said get out of fear and get into service. I think that is just beautifully said. And that's really the essence of what it's all about, right?
Yes. Yes. And we talked about very quickly before we went live here that, because I talk about celebrity, because growing up, in entertainment, owning a talent agency, I really want people to become celebrities in their industry. I do not want people to become famous because they want fame. And I say the more you chase fame, the more it's going to elude you. The more you chase being of service and really doing the work that you feel you're called on this earth to do, the more opportunities for fame will show up at your door organically. So it's this interesting thing in the world right now where, people get their 15 minutes, they become YouTube stars, the reality stars, but that is fleeting. That's not going to stay. And so my question to you is, do you want 15 minutes or do you want 15 years? That's a
Yeah.
big difference. That's a very different strategy.
It really is. And, that's a perfect segue to kind of go into your 5 types of video that I think that we should all be using. How do we kind of go away from this 15-minute of fame idea and jump into more of a 15-year strategy or 30-year strategy, whatever it might be?
Yes, yes, yes. Let me tell you. So first of all, as I
Thank you.
said earlier, we need some strategy with video. I'm a huge fan for going live, for using Instagram stories, for being organic. I think that's really, really, really important. So please do not get confused with that being, you have your spontaneous moments, but then you also have your curated, structured marketing content, a calendar, a plan for the videos you're going to put out there. And this
That
is
sounds
where
beautiful.
yes,
I love
it
that.
really is a beautiful thing. And this is where these 5 types of videos come into play. So the first video I believe every business owner, every entrepreneur, actually every business needs is what I call a positioning video. We spend, at least I'll speak for myself, I have spent countless hours and dollars on my website. And for a long time, the website was kind of static for 2 main reasons that I hope this will benefit those of you that are listening. One is my message wasn't clear. Same thing with your videos. A confused mind will never buy. If you are trying to be all things to all people, you are going to suffer and you don't have to. The moment I went from inspired living, what the heck is that? What do you do, Keri? I don't know. My best friend is telling that to me. My family, I think right now after 10 years, they're starting to get it. But the
I'm glad to
moment
hear that.
I focused on video, like we help people create inspired brands through putting out incredible video content. That it all clicked, right? People knew what I did. And now I get opportunities to be on podcasts, to speak, to run events. But I had to get niched. So I'm going to say before I go into 5 types of videos, please take a moment and ask yourself, am I a specialist or am I a generalist? If you are a generalist, you are going to have a tough time monetizing what it is that you do in a way that I think you want. Okay, I'm just going to put that out there.
So true. The world is noisier than it's ever been. I think that if you're not
So
focused,
noisy.
very narrow focus, I think that you're just too general for anyone to really understand how you're going to add value.
Yeah. And Alex, think about this. Like if I'm looking for someone to, let's just say I'm looking for someone to help me with video. Am I going to go with the person who's known for it? Or I'm going to go with the person who does that and a million other things? And then because you're a specialist, people will pay more. People will look at you in a certain way. You're positioned differently. So there's so many incredible reasons why to create a specialty with what it is that you do and get known for that specialty. We do a lot more than just video coaching in my company. We have 10 coaches. We work with branding and websites and social, but we don't market that because that's just too much. And there's a bunch of people out there in the world that do that. So why compete?
Right. Exactly.
Okay, back to 5 videos. So the first one, little tangent. First one is positioning. This is on the homepage of your website. It's front and center. I don't need to scroll. You just purchased your online real estate, which is your website. It is the only property you really own online. Your social media you do not own, and it could be gone tomorrow. So when I finally get to your site, I should know in 3 to 8 seconds that I have come to the right place. So how do you do that? You have a 90-second or so video that tells me exactly what I just went through with you, Alex, why I'm there, why you, what you do, how you do it, and the next step I need to take to learn more. You are not selling me. You're not asking me to marry you on a first date, right? You are just igniting curiosity, getting me excited. I have found my home and I'm going to keep digging. Right? That's a positioning video. Every single business needs this, and it should be done in high quality. It's actually my 2-day on camera training that we've done for 8 years. People fly into LA. Day 1, we work with them on message. Day 2, we shoot this video. I bring in my celebrity hair and makeup team, my photographer. It is the bomb, I have to say. So that is that. The second video, and the one that is just as important as that positioning video, because by the way, the whole point of being on social is to get them off social and to get them on your website. So if that website's not converting, there's no point in having it. Okay. Now, the second one, and the one that leads people to your site, is what I call personality videos. These are the heartbeat of your brand. People don't want to see polished, curated content. Believe it or not, I produce it. I do it every week. We put it out there, and it is great. We provide a lot of value. But you know what people really love, Alex? They love me hanging out with my 4-year-old little girl. They love it when I'm talking about something that I'm struggling with, or I'm sharing a moment, or I'm excited about something, or I'm behind the scenes in my bathrobe. Like, that's what they want to see. They don't want to see the perfect put together Keri every day, because first of all, there is no such thing. I'm telling you right now. But also, it's not relatable. Those personality videos are the behind the scenes of your life, and they are what people really want to know.
Yeah.
And those are the videos that usually will entice someone to dig deeper. And they'll be like, oh my God, I love this guy. Like, I watch him. He's so great. He has great stories. He's super entertaining. I'm going to go find out more about what he does. Okay, great. Oh my gosh, look at his site. It's amazing. You know, and you build it all from there. Again, there is a strategy with all of this. So personality videos, super important. And again, those are the videos you have fun with. Don't worry about the structure. Pull out the phone, talk about something that matters. Again, what's in it for them? What's in it for them? Always be in the forefront of your mind.
Yeah, I think that one's really important. I want to kind of jump in there real quick, because a lot of us, creating a brand, we're thinking about brands, and many times we get kind of caught up in this idea of it's a product or service. But truthfully, at the end of the day, each of us, we are our own brand, and people are going to connect with you as an individual, the real you, not the polished version of you. That's what they're going to connect with. And when they see that you care about what they're going through and you have that solution, that problem, that's what they're interested in. Not just a beautiful website, not just a product. They want to see you, the brand, in your true form, right?
Yeah, in your natural element with all of it. I remember I have a beautiful 4-year-old little girl right now, and I'm in an awesome partnership. I'm recently engaged and a baby on the way. It's a very exciting time.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But for 3 years, I was a single mom. And Lauren was the greatest just miracle that showed up in my life that was not planned for. How do I say that? That's how I say it. And I remember being so scared to share it. I was like, what are people going to think about me? Oh my gosh. And from clients to Facebook, social, it's like people came out of the woodwork, Alex. It was like, oh my God, Keri, you can do this. We're so excited for you. We're so proud of you. I had clients that were in my high-end mastermind that were like, Keri, we always admired you for your skill, but now that you're a mom, oh my gosh, you can relate to me so much more. You get it now. Before, when you give me advice, like I had a client who had 2 kids. She's like, I didn't think that I could listen because you didn't get my life. And now you really get my life. And again, it was that thing I was so scared to share that opened up the business. And I think we tripled that year, so
yeah. And
I would go out and walk with her in a stroller with a baseball hat and sunglasses all the time. And it was those videos that people connected with. I'm like, it wasn't the perfectly produced videos. Those are great for visibility, and they're really great for just authority and positioning. But
Right.
people, again, they want to know you. And that's, the personality videos.
Love that. What's your third video?
Third video, dun, 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 is product. So product videos, I feel like, are twofold. They are, for me, our weekly blog content that we put out. I have 3 different formats of videos that we do in my company. We have my celebrity and successful entrepreneur videos. That's my ILTV inspiration stories. I love stories of success, so I will never stop doing those. I have spotlight interviews where people can invest and have a polished media interview with me on set that we syndicate and get press releases around. And then I have my weekly blog content, which is me to camera sharing some really valuable tips to grow your brand and business. So every single week, I am putting out some sort of polished material to help people and serve them where they're at. And so that to me is a product. It's what we own. It's our IP. It's my brand, right? Those are product videos. I don't really monetize those. Yes, they all drive profit, but it's not my focus in creating that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. That you're not,
Okay.
again, that's like just kind of something that you're sharing to add value, to raise awareness, but you're not necessarily going out and promoting it or anything like that.
Yes, it's brand building, but I've had people who have watched those videos who have said, I have watched you forever. We love you. I can't wait to work with you. I'm finally ready. Or I saw your video. I want you to come speak at my event. Right. So they're really, really good for positioning. So I do feel like people need some just good production value videos. And then on the flip side of that, we do have an online program that we do monetize called the IL Academy, and it's all video content. That is a product as well. I think most people, I don't care, product or service, could have some sort of online training that people could buy. That's where everything's going. People just want to purchase information as quickly as possible. So that to me is product videos. They're your online kind of weekly content you put out, and then it's also like an online course or something that people can buy.
Love it. That's great.
Fourth video, one that many people don't do, and when they do, they don't know how to do it right, is promotional. We need to promote what we do. If we don't ask people to buy things, they won't. It's just the way it is, right? So you need to have, opt-in pages, lead pages, website pages, thank you pages. Those pages statistically convert over 76% better with a video.
Oh, wow.
Like, don't make me read long page form. People remember 95% of what they watch in a video versus 10% of text. I'm not making this up. This is all research. So, you have to be using video if you're going to promote a product or service. So that has to be part of your content calendar and your marketing plan for the quarter and the year. And then the last video, and the one that you don't have to do, is actually what I call your proof. PROOF. Social proof is huge. And I have seen businesses skyrocket because of how they use social proof in their social and on their site. So a written testimonial is still great. If that's the only way you can get one, go for it. Mm-hmm. But man, if you can get someone talking at a live event about what they just went through, if you can get someone who went through a workshop with you, or even was doing one-on-one coaching, who bought your product and loved it, get them on camera. And if it's scary for them, just say, hey, you know what? Can we do a quick Zoom call? And can I record it? Can I just ask you a couple questions about your experience? You can edit that and make it beautiful. So social proof is really important. It's one thing to talk about what you do. It's another thing to have other people share it. And again, video, you get to see the expression. You get to feel them. You get to see them. It's different than any sort of audio or written component.
To recap the 5 videos that every business should utilize. Number 1, positioning video, which is above the fold of your website.
On your website, yes.
Number 2, personality video. Show people who you are, be the brand. Number 3, product video, which are your more polished videos. Number 4, promotional video. When used properly, this can convert your website 76% better than written text, which means I clearly have some changes to make. And last but not least, number 5, social proof video, which is a testimonial in video form, something from your customer talking about you and your brand.
Yep, you got it, Alex. That's it.
Keri, I have to say, you seem to have this video thing figured out. This is easily the best advice I've ever heard on using video to grow your brand.
Yay, that's great. Happy to hear that.
Keri, as we're nearing the end of our time together, I wanted to ask, is there anything on the topic of video that we haven't covered that you would like to add?
There's so many things, Alex. What I do want to say, though, is please don't wait. Don't wait for this perfect time or to have the perfect equipment. When you go back on my YouTube channel, you'll see the stuff that I shot by myself with poor lighting. And it's like, your message is more important than showing up perfect. And there is no such thing as perfection. And the more you strive for it, the more poisonous it is to everything that you do in your life. So
true.
Just begin, and I just heard something it was on a video that it was like, if you don't look back at your brand, 5 years from now or 10 years from now going, oh my Lord, I can't believe I started there. You haven't evolved. You haven't grown.
Right.
And for me, I started Inspired Living in 2011. I look back at that first iteration and I'm like, oy vey, like, okay. And even the second one, it was pretty, but it wasn't clear, and we're just going through another rebrand now. So be okay with being who you are and understand who that is. If you don't know what makes you you, if you don't love the person you are, if you're not committed and confident in the services and products that you provide, figure that out first and get clear on what that is. Work with someone like my team and I and get clear on your unique differentiator, get specialized, and then just start. Just do it. Do it.
Beautifully said. I learned so much from you today. I know that Creating a Brand listeners have some big takeaways as well. Thank you so much for sharing with us today.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Keri is so knowledgeable when it comes to video. You can tell from hearing her voice how experienced she is in this field. Keri, thank you so much for sharing this valuable information with us today. I'm telling you, if you implement video into your marketing strategy, you're going to grow personally and your brand is going to yield massive returns as a result. I speak from experience. When I first started recording myself on video, I began growing and so did my brand. Now, if you're wondering where to begin, thankfully, Keri just gave us a plan to follow. Begin by creating the 5 types of video that we talked about throughout this episode. I'm going to be making some changes myself and implementing Keri's framework into my marketing strategy, and I encourage you to do the same. Starting can be a scary thing, but as Keri said, do it. Just get started. So encouraging. Keri, thank you again for sharing your wisdom and being a guest today. For show notes from today's episode, visit creatingabrandpodcast.com. As always, thank you for listening, and I'm looking forward to sharing another episode with you next week.